First of all, that is reprehensible conduct in which a suspect is beat in that fashion. We saw a glimpse of that. It is under investigation. We don't have all of the details, and certainly that suspect had a history of concern that was legitimate for the officers, but what that response was not consistent with the training that they receive as certified officers with the Arkansas Law Enforcement Training Academy. That will be investigated by the state police. I understand that the U.S. Attorney and the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice will be conducting a separate investigation. I've talked to I've talked to the sheriff of Crawford County. I relayed my understanding of the circumstances, and we discussed the investigation that will ensue. He certainly promised all the cooperation, and I thought his comment that they hold the officers to a high standard, immediate action was taken, and that was important for the public to see that in this case. And so the investigation will continue by the state police as well as by federal authorities. But I did want to say this is not what our law enforcement community represents. It's not the proper response, and they will be reviewed and appropriate action taken consistent with what the investigation we learned from that and what the results are.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, the top U.S. infectious disease official who became the face of America's COVID-19 pandemic response under Presidents Donald Trump and Joe Biden, announced he is stepping down in December after more than 5 decades of public service. Fauci, whose efforts to fight the pandemic were applauded by many public health experts, even as he was vilified by Trump and many on the right, will be leaving his posts as chief medical advisor to Biden and as the director of the U.S. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Fauci, who is 81, has headed the institute since 1984. In a statement released Monday, Fauci said that, quote, "While I am moving on from my current positions, I am not retiring," echoing what he told Reuters in an interview earlier this month.
I will very likely leave the federal government, but not retire. When I leave, I'm not going to go play golf.
Fauci on Monday said he planned to, quote, "pursue the next phase of my career while I still have so much energy and passion for my field." Fauci has served under 7 U.S. presidents, beginning with Ronald Reagan, on newly emerging and re-emerging infectious disease threats, including HIV/AIDS, Ebola, and Zika. He became a popular and trusted figure among many Americans as the nation faced lockdowns and rising numbers of COVID-19 deaths. But he endured blistering criticism from Trump and various conservatives.
Let me finish.
You take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans.
Right.
You're saying that's not gain of function?
Yeah, that is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly.
Attacks against Fauci by Republican Senator Rand Paul became a regular feature of Senate hearings on the pandemic. And on Monday, Republican lawmakers vowed to investigate him if they gain control of either the House of Representatives or Senate in November's congressional elections. Fauci has also endured death threats from people who objected to safeguards such as vaccinations, social distancing, and masking, and told Reuters in early August it was likely he would continue to have security detail even after he leaves his posts.
I don't know how long that will be, but certainly just because one announces next month, next year, or whatever, that you're going to step down, the threats don't necessarily stop, and there are a lot of them.
On Monday, Fauci told Reuters, quote, "I definitely feel it was worth staying as long as I have. It is unfortunate, but it is a fact of life that we are living in a very, very divisive society right now." President Biden, in a statement on Monday, said, quote, "I know the American people and the entire world will continue to benefit from Dr. Fauci's expertise in whatever he does next," adding that the United States of America is stronger, more resilient, and healthier because of him.
With a near total ban on abortion set to take effect in Idaho this week, a U.S. judge on Monday expressed concern that doctors could be prevented from providing life-saving emergency care to pregnant women. The comments came in response to the U.S. Department of Justice's first challenge to a state's abortion ban since the Supreme Court overturned the constitutional right to the procedure in June. Judge B. Lynn Windmill echoed the Biden administration's concerns that the Idaho law could discourage doctors from offering emergency abortions to women facing the risk of death or serious injury. The Justice Department lawsuit argues the state's near-total ban would infringe on women's rights to emergency medical care under the Federal Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act. Idaho officials argue the law does allow for abortions to prevent the death of a pregnant woman, but Windmill noted the law only allows the exception by permitting doctors to argue at trial that they believed the woman's life was in danger. Reuters reporter Nate Raymond said the judge questioned how the law would impact doctors and patients.
Judge Windmill, kept throughout the hearing saying, well, that's going to have a potentially sort of an effect, a chilling effect on doctors because, that's all fine and good that maybe at trial you could argue that, but no one wants to be indicted in the first place. And doctors are risk averse. There's going to be a lot of, and in an emergency setting, do you really want doctors calling up their lawyers and asking, can I provide an abortion to this woman? I think she might die, but it's not guaranteed.
About half of all U.S. states have or are expected to seek to ban or curtail abortions, following the conservative majority Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, which legalized abortion nationwide. Abortions are already banned in Idaho after about 6 weeks of pregnancy under a different law already in effect.
We want place out, and we want place out.
U.S. stocks ended sharply lower on Monday as investors fretted about a Federal Reserve gathering later this week in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, when Chair Jerome Powell is expected to reinforce a strong commitment to hiking interest rates to stamp out inflation. The Dow fell more than 600 points, or almost 2%. The S&P 500 dropped more than 2%, while the Nasdaq fell 2.5%. William Houston, Chief Investment Officer at Bay Street Capital Holdings, said given the rough year for stocks, he didn't think Monday's big decline was one investors should be overly worried about.
A lot of the down days have been strong down days, so I wouldn't say this is uncharacteristic of what we've been dealing with for this year. We have incremental moves forward, and then we have very strong pullbacks on days that we have down days. But again, compared to what we've seen over the last 6 weeks, I wouldn't say today is a day of concern. We do have Powell speaking at Jackson Hole at 10 a.m. And so I think that's going to really be the litmus test in terms of how did the week play out. I know it's later in the week, but I think that's what would be a better thing to compare in terms of how the markets are actually responding.
Mega-cap stocks Amazon, Nvidia, Microsoft, and Tesla all tumbled as the benchmark 10-year U.S. Treasury yield rose past 3% for the first time since July 21st. Meme stocks also took a hit Monday, dragged down by shares of AMC Entertainment, which plummeted about 42% on the day the movie theater chain's preferred stock listing started trading, and after its UK-based rival Cineworld warned of a possible bankruptcy filing. Shares of Ford Motor fell 5% after the automaker said it will cut a total of 3,000 jobs On the positive side, Signify Health surged following a report on Sunday that United Health Group, Amazon, CVS Health, and Option Care Health were all making bids to acquire the company.